Hi guys, it's your two poly chicks again, Tiffany and Cindy, bringing you another hot topic
Hat
today.
packet, hat packet.
Oh my gosh, I can't talk because I'm actually so I feel, I'm usually happy, bubbly, like, excited to talk about a lot of things with politics. But today, waking up to the news and the information that came out from over the weekend on that rally that Trump had, and just hearing the rhetoric and hearing the vitriol that was coming from him, I can't be the and I don't want to get let it get into my spirit or let it get into my soul or my personality, but I can't be that happy, like the world is roses type person and feel that deep down in my heart and soul and see the situation that's going on. So what we're going to talk about today, guys, which is this is one of the things that we usually don't bring a topic this fast, right, Cindy? Like this
Right,
just
yeah,
happened, I think yesterday or
yeah.
over the weekend. And it's the and I know there were different people up there saying different things and everything can be clipped out. But when you have someone that's at your rally, at your political rally, saying Puerto Rico is a mass of garbage in the middle of the Atlantic, a mass of garbage, in a sense you're essentially dehumanizing people from that place. You're saying it's garbage. You're belittling them, and then the person went on to say that he started making jokes, and I know one of them was a comedian, so you can give a
But
little bit of leverage. Yeah, one of them was a comedian, like he was
I
there
know,
as
but they always say he was just joking. When the guy himself says it, they'll say he was just joking. So it's always about a joke.
yeah, and but that this one specifically, I think this guy was a comedian. He's like a
Yeah,
political satirist, and
yeah,
he basically said, the Puerto Ricans don't know how to pull out. Like, they
yeah.
don't know. They keep having babies, and all the tropes that you hear about people of color and minorities, and that they're multiplying, and they're going to be here, and their kids are going to just be multiplying. It was that, and then it was also the fact that they were alluding to not the fact, they were alluding to Kamala being a prostitute and that she's being pimped. That how long has that gone
Oh
on with the
boy.
black woman being the overly sexual, hypersexualized
Yeah.
being, and they're disqualifying any of her previous experiences. You have Tucker Carlson on there saying Malaysian, Asian, whatever she is, and joking and laughing as if someone's heritage is like a laughing matter, and it's like just to belittle and to demean a person, and like I said, dehumanize it. It just it's so frustrating, and I just I don't know, it's very frustrating. So
Tiff, you and I in a similar boat in that I consider us to be like empaths. I think we feel things very when things happen, it don't I don't be like, well, that ain't me. That's too bad for them. Anything I read or hear, I'll be so sad for like a long period of time, just but I think I'm a little more refreshed than you are because like I was telling you, I have taken in these last 3 weeks, I have taken a fasting break from all the politics stuff just because it started to really, really wear me down. And I think at this point, it's not really about what they're saying. What's wearing me down, I think, the most is just that it's so close. That tells you something more than just this guy. So if for some chance he loses and he goes off into the sunset, go to jail, get the cases done, whatever, humiliation, there is about 50% of this country. You can say you're undecided. You could say you're an evangelical. You could say you're independent and you vote blue and red, or you could say you MAGA. Those are like the four ones, right? And it could be some more. Whatever it is that you would vote for a person like that, that this is not the first time that either he said something or something was said representing what he said. You know, this person represents you. They're in your show. This is a show. That's not a political stadium. That's a show. So they're in your show, and you're going to say, oh, I didn't know. I don't know him that well. He was just joking. Those are all the things that he said so far when he had The Nazi in Mar-a-Lago. I think he had the Nazi guy, I forgot his name, Fuentes, maybe, had him at his thing, and people were like, he's a Nazi, he's this, he's that. And it was like, oh, I didn't know him that well. When he said something at his rallies, oh, he was just joking.
Yep.
He didn't mean it that way, the way you took it. You took the speech out of context. It's
Yep.
not the first time that it's been said. Either he's directly said it. I mean, remember, he called Haiti a S country.
Shithole country.
Right.
Yeah,
He
a
called
shithole
them,
country. All the shit. Well, a lot
yeah,
of African nations, shithole
yes,
countries,
he
you know.
calls them that. He said whatever he said about Mexicans, and then these are still the people that are voting. I have rarely cared what he thought because I'm a New Yorker
Mm-hmm.
and we knew him. So
Mm-hmm.
I lived near his Trump Towers and Coney Island and all that foolishness. We
Since
knew him
the
from years ago,
80s.
since the 80s.
Since
We
the
lived out there
80s.
in the
Yep.
80s. So
Yep.
he's not a surprise to me. But
Mm-hmm.
what is a shock to my system that I just can't get over is the voters. We have the most power.
Yes.
He does not have the power. Madison Square
Yep.
Garden doesn't have the power. The police department, the mayor, none of that. It's who put these people in office. And so everybody's laughing and cheering. And this is not a comedy show. This is supposed to be a political thing where you tell us what you're going to do
Yeah.
about inflation, where you tell us what you're going to do about the border, where you tell us what you're going to do about our pockets being, where you can tell us about housing and Medicare. You don't have a plan for Medicare, for coverage, but you got a
Mm-hmm.
plan for immigration to just get rid of everybody. And
Yeah.
anybody that's not, as he says, poisoning the blood of this country, anybody he feels that's not poisoning the blood, that's white, nationalist. That's like what the FBI said, is that the biggest threat here is white nationalism, and you see it on stage. So
You
that's
you
my issue.
see it, and that was the other thing. There were a lot of nothing against white men. I'm around them all the time, so I have friends that are white males, and
Mm-hmm.
we're constantly interacting and hanging. It's just it's nothing against them specifically, but when you see them all white males on stage talking about a woman and talking about brown and black people and talking about just people's heritage and how they view it. It's just, and like you said, it's sickening in that aspect, but then it's also sickening in the fact of people are not saying, hey, that's not right.
Yeah,
Why would you say that?
yeah,
Hey, like you said, they're cheering. And when you're cheering this on as if it's something that's normal and acceptable, that's the part that hurt me because it's like, wait a minute. And not saying that I ever thought that racism was dead ever. Like that'll exist forever.
yeah.
Sexism, racism, anytime people look different or act different or have different backgrounds, that'll exist forever. But when you talk about someone specific as a prostitute or as your country is a garbage country and it's a US territory, that to me is
Mm.
another level of and you know what else I always think about? I'm like, yeah, you can talk, we can take a joke. We talk about black people, we talk about Spanish people, whatever. But you know what I never hear them talking about? I never hear them joke about white males. Have you ever
Nope,
heard them joke about
nope,
white males or say
no,
anything disparaging or demeaning about them?
nope,
So to
nope.
me, jokes are jokes. So we've gone to comedy clubs and we've heard jokes about everybody, like a wider array of people. But when you're singing, I'm joking, I'm joking, I'm joking, but you never say anything about the specific people that's on your stage to demean them or to detract them from voting for you. That's
Hmm.
interesting, you know?
Yep,
So,
yep.
but let's get off of that. It's like I said, it's a heavy topic. He's just I don't mind anyone voting their conscience and for Republicans because, like Cindy and I have said, we voted for Republicans in the past several times. It's the person, that specific person, and that specific feeling of what he represents and how vile, what the vile nature. If I got on stage and said Haitians are eating cats and dogs and Puerto Rico is a shithole nation, you would be just saying some of the things as a normal human being going to work. Can you imagine what my job would say if I said some of that
No,
bullshit at a meeting? Can you?
yeah.
I would
Imagine,
be,
just imagine, and your boss was Haitian too, you would really be toast. But the
yeah.
thing is, Kid, before we move, what I said I would love to do is I would love to get a transcript to have it written out and don't say who said it. Just put it written out and then have everybody be all outraged and then say, guess who said it? It's that guy that said it. Then there would be true feelings. But as long as they know old grandpa is at the Thanksgiving party acting crazy, they're gonna keep forgiving it. And that's what makes me angry. The second thing is just how the media has portrayed this. It's like it's just a regular day. It's just a regular.
Yes,
He has inundated the media so much with crazy, they can't keep up. They don't know
they
what to do
can't.
with it. They can't keep up with it, and people are not taking it serious. The thing is, I always say this: one thing he does, if he's a liar all around. But where he tells the truth is what he plans to do and who he is. That is where his truth always comes out. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, they this the five boys that was proven to be not guilty of raping that woman in Manhattan is or Harlem or where was it, Central Park. Um, you still took out an ad saying they should be executed, but you want the J6 committee people, the J6 rioters that climbed the building, doodled in the White House, did all not in the White House, in the
Hmm.
Capitol building and all of that. You good with them. The other thing I
You
want to
want them
say,
to be
yeah,
exonerated.
you want
Yeah.
them to be, and when he gets in office, he already said, I'm gonna pardon them. He's made a song, he's made the change the national anthem, and he's telling you who he is, so you should just believe him. The last thing I'll say before we move to what you was gonna say is when you downplay what somebody's doing or saying about like her saying she's a prostitute. I know at one point they were trying to say Willie, she was sleeping with some guy, Willie, and that's how she's a DEA hire. You're not only demeaning her and dehumanizing her, you're making it okay so that if you were to eventually feel like you could rape her or you could do something to her, nobody would care because hey, she's a prostitute, she's a whore. And if you think that's exaggeration, just remember they tried to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. Remember they tried to kidnap Gretchen
Mhm.
Whitmer during the
Yep.
pandemic lockdown because she
Yep.
refused to open the country back up. What, Michigan? She refused to
Yep.
open the country back up. And he whipped up his crowd into this country shouldn't be locked down. We should be back to work. This is foolishness. COVID's a hoax. They literally had zip ties. They were caught with zip ties. Who knows what they would have did to this woman if they actually had gotten her? And they
Yeah.
literally had a conspiracy to get her. Remember E. Jean Carroll? He's already been proven to have sexually abused someone in his lifetime. So these things, it's sexual, it's patriarchal to women. It is demeaning women. It's demeaning Black and brown women, especially. She's not a Black or brown woman, but women in general. And to see the women at the rallies just supporting that, I can't get my head around it. I just can't.
It's heartbreaking, and it's like it's almost like you see the writing on the wall, you see the dehumanization, you see the demeaning, you see the, oh, since she slept around. And that also, we should do a topic on that because my girlfriend and I had a conversation about that, about the sexualization of women and how
Mm-hmm.
your sexuality, you're not like, if she did sleep with whoever the guy is,
Mm-hmm.
so what? And you're saying, oh, she slept with them to get to the top. How many men have, let's say, promoted a secretary because they were sleeping with them? Or how many men have had jobs because their daddy is XYZ in the
Yeah.
corporation? So there's that, what is it called when the nepotism all
Yeah.
around. You see it in
Yeah.
Hollywood, you see it in
And a double
businesses,
standard. Yeah.
and a double standard. So when anytime someone is friends or friendly or have had sex, that's how they moved up. So to me,
But you
and
seen
like
her
I
in
said, guys,
Congress. I think she's doing a good job when she was in Congress, and there was no men there to help her and carry her.
well, once you
She
slept
did
with one
great.
person, I guess you kind
Makes you
of
smart.
yeah. I mean, who knows? I guess in bed. I don't know. Is that what they're saying? Like it just carries her
Yeah.
through. It makes no sense. But we're just gonna move on to juxtapose that rally in the sense of it to the rally that Kamala was having with Michelle Obama. And it'll be a quick statement or quick conversation on it because I
Hmm.
wanted to do the juxtaposition of what and who she has representing her. Michelle
Hmm.
Obama said something quite interesting when she brought up the reproductive rights topic. She spent like 30 minutes talking and she said a lot of interesting things. I encourage you guys to go listen to her speech. But she did mention that the men that love us, the ones that have wives, that have daughters, nieces, aunts, mothers, sisters, people that they love, you would be holding the bag when things happen when it comes to a woman's reproductive health. She talked about how your daughter may be afraid of just even going and getting simple health care because for fear of what could happen to her if she's suspected of having lost a baby or if she did lose a baby. Like it's so many things. And she's like, she put it much more plain than I could have put it. And
Mm-hmm.
understandably so when she talked about the cervical cancer and things that can come about from just having that reproductive health and the men holding the bag with losing a love. Think about the girl in Georgia. His wife is gone and he's left to raise
Yeah.
a kid on his own.
Yep.
He's and she said you would be the one in the hospital pleading for help for your loved one. Asking, can you please? So to say it doesn't involve you, it involves you if it involves the women that you love. And I thought that was a good point that she brought up.
Yeah.
But not only that, it was just the fact that she was really presenting what the country would be looking forward to with Kamala. And I think that says a lot when you have one side not talking about the country, they're talking about, and not saying that Kamala doesn't talk about Trump, but it's just the fact that the one side talks about just the other person in such a horrible rhetoric and doesn't talk
Personally,
about
just
what he does.
personally. Yeah, you
Yeah,
talking
and
personally
they
about her.
never talked about, oh, President Trump will do X, Y, Z, and
Nothing.
or ex-President Trump. So I just think that that's a big difference when you
Yeah.
listen to people at
Yeah.
that rally.
It's not a requirement that we know anything about what he's gonna do, what his plans are for us. Those things are not a requirement. I always say it's just consistently like the tree, because the axe is a African proverb, I think it is, that says because the axe, the handle is made of wood, people voted, trees voted for it thinking that it was just one of them. So because he's a white male, he's one of us. I'm gonna vote for him. I don't care what she's saying. There was a guy on one of the social medias, and he had the nerve to put up, "Tell me three things Biden and Harris did for this country." Like, I'm like, are you serious? Like, tell me one thing this guy did. And then just to remember what it was like under his presidency, just cursing out reporters and just saying any old thing anytime and acting like he's president just for half the country. So you're
Yeah.
acting like you're president just for the people that voted for you. And even when COVID happened, and you were like, they didn't thank me. So that's the reason why they're not getting any money, any PPE equipment. And by the way, one of my friends said, we talk about in the mail voting one, this how people just believe he gave them money. So that's the reason why they're willing to overlook all this all the crazy. And the other ones are willing to overlook all the crazy because he represents them. He speaks
Wow.
just like the people. There's a lot of people in this country that speak like that, and they're so happy to see somebody actually speaking for them. So if you've seen his rallies,
Which,
it's like, oh,
yeah.
he speaks for us. He does. You grab people by the kitty cat. You think that it's okay to call people countries like S-holes and say they're garbage? You think it's okay to call this woman a prostitute? Like a woman that's literally running for president and you're calling her or you're comparing her to a prostitute.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
think it's
It,
okay
like
to
I said,
have what do you call that? Dictators like Putin and Kim Jong-un and Erdogan. You think it's just okay to I don't know if they take him serious or not, but I kind of
they
think
should.
it would just be like it would be like the good for you if you got what you voted for. It would be like the good
Well,
for you.
it wouldn't be good for us though. That's
No,
the
it
problem.
wouldn't. We'd be the casualty. No, we're gonna be the
Yeah.
casualties. We'll be
Yeah.
the. That's what happens, right? That's what always. If you look at any time a prince or a king or whatever got in this country and they were terrible and like I'm sure all the Gazans didn't vote for Hamas, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure they didn't all vote for that, but they're literally in that. That's what's called a
Mhm.
casualty. And
Casualty.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah.
if he wins, if the polling is correct, he's in the head. He's ahead, or it's just too close, and that's scary to me.
Yeah, I didn't see recently that he was ahead. I saw that it was really tight, but I didn't see that he was ahead this morning. Like I said, when I turned on the news, it showed 51 to 49. So I'm
That's
gonna
ridiculous, Stephanie. That's
remain
ridiculous.
hopeful. Girl, you're telling me that someone could be so vile. And I understand personalities. People say don't vote personalities, but you know what? My leader or our leader should have a certain set of personalities that I can show and tell my son to look up to and say, hey, you know, every time I speak to Donnie about something he says when he's seeing it and hearing it, he's just like in awe. I would never, ever allow either one of my sons
Just
to
don't
be or act like that, especially toward women. So, but look, we're gonna get off of this topic because, like I said,
it'll be
it's
forever, right?
angry.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, and it's just I just can't wait till we get past this time and politics and go back to the norms of the
Normal of not
healthy
knowing
debate.
who's elected, right?
Yeah, healthy debate. Who wins? They concede. They go to the other side to help. All of that normal stuff that we used to do. So,
Yeah.
guys, this is another topic brought to you. We'll
Yeah.
see you on the next video.
See you
Always
guys.
follow us, like, subscribe. We're on Two Polychicks, Gmail, Instagram, Twitter, or X, and you saw us on YouTube. So we are
Yep.
Polychicks on YouTube.
Okay.
Um, like, subscribe, talk to
Talk,
us,
talk
comment.
to us. See you
All
later,
right,
guys. Bye bye.
guys.